Good morning, McFarland High School. This is Ms. Harper. I'm one of your associate principals. Today in your advisory, we're going to talk about a pretty sensitive topic, which is bullying. I know we'd all like to believe that it doesn't occur here at McFarland High School because everyone's classy and kind, and unfortunately, that isn't the case. We do still have bullying in our school, and I think that we should all be working together to eradicate that. The slides today are going to give you some facts. They're going to give you some resources and hopefully empower you to be an advocate to step up and step out against bullying. Did you know more than 1 out of every 5 students has reported being bullied at least once? 33% of those students reported being bullied at least once or twice during the school year. School-based bullying prevention programs decrease bullying up to 25%. The chance of being cyberbullied has tripled in the last 5 years. Bullying affects more than the victim. It affects the witnesses too. Students have unique power to help stop and prevent bullying. Bullying affects education, health, and safety of all those involved. Bullying has many forms, none of which are okay. More than half of bullying situations stop when a peer intervenes on behalf of the student being bullied. So there's quite a few different facts here, and I want to pause the video for a moment for you to look at these, and I want you to pull out 2 that really stand out to you. And so I'm going to give you a minute to do that, and then I want you, after that minute, to find a partner and share the 2 that stood out to you and discuss why you think that was the case.
Give me a second, I need to get my story straight. My lover, she is waiting for me just across the bar. My seat's been taken by some sunglasses, asking about a scar. And I know I gave it to you months ago. I know you're trying to forget, but between the drinks and subtle things, the holes in my apologies, you know, I'm trying hard to take it back. So if by the time the bar closes and you feel like falling down, I'll carry you home tonight. We are young, so let's set the world on fire. We can burn brighter than the sun tonight. So let's set the world on fire. time the bar closes and you feel like falling down, I'll carry you home tonight.
Some vocabulary to make sure that you are understanding around bullying. So there's some different things that I know that Ms. Shamer, who's the other associate principal here, we hear things like, oh, we were just playing, or we were just, it was just a prank, or we were just teasing. And so we want to be clear around the difference. So playful teasing, everybody's having a good time. No one's getting hurt. Everyone's participating equally. Conflict, no one's having fun. There is a possible solution to the disagreement, and there's an equal balance of power. A mean moment, someone's being hurt on purpose, and there's a reaction to a strong feeling or emotion. Bullying, someone is being hurt on purpose, and there's a perceived imbalance of power. And so to further those definitions of bullying, especially when you line it up against the definition of harassment, bullying is when someone uses words or actions that are meant to cause fear, intimidation, or harm. Bullying may be repeated behavior, meaning it happens over and over and involves an imbalance of power where the person who is bullying has power over the victim. It may be physical, verbal, written, or indirect, such as excluding someone. Harassment. Harassment is physically, verbally, or indirectly threatening, insulting, degrading, stereotyping, and or harming another student because of race, color, national or origin, gender, sexual orientation, religion or creed, pregnancy, parental or marital status, ability, disability, class, or age. So when we think about harassment, often what we're dealing with are people that are part of a protected class. And so I just listed out all of the different definitions for that. There's some images along the bottom of this slide that also indicate who those groups of people might be. But a protected class are groups of people who are legally protected from being harmed or harassed by laws, practices, and policies that discriminate against them due to a shared characteristic. These groups are protected by both U.S., federal, and state laws. So sometimes what we'll see with a protected class is hate speech. And this link here links to our district policy on hate speech. But hate speech can show up in a few different ways. It's a form of expression that attacks, threatens, degrades, or insults a person or group based on their membership to a protected class. Hate speech can take many forms, can be on social media, writing, drawing, verbal, symbols. Anything that represents negativity against a shared identity can be considered hate speech. Examples would be the N-word, the F-word, body shaming, religious slurs, gender slurs, jokes, the R-word. Another form are microaggressions. And so we're going to identify what microaggressions are and then look at some examples of them. So microaggressions are everyday, subtle, intentional, or unintentional interactions or behaviors that communicate some sort of bias towards a historically marginalized group. And so off to the right of the slide, you can see some different examples of how a microaggression may show up in a situation. I'm going to pause for a moment and give you time to look over some of these examples. So there are three types of microaggressions that we're going to dig a little bit deeper into. Micro assaults, micro insults, and micro invalidations. And on each of these slides, there's going to be some examples of what that looks like and how that can show up. Microassaults are overt forms of discrimination in which someone deliberately behaves in a discriminatory way. So they may think that their actions aren't noticed or harmful. Examples might be posting a Confederate flag, swastikas, or using racial slurs or other forms of hate speech. And again, the images on this slide represent examples of a microassault. Micro-invalidations are verbal statements that deny, negate, or undermine the reality of members of a targeted group. For example, when a person tells a person of color that racism does not exist, that person is invalidating and denying the person of color's reality. And there's some images here to represent a micro-invalidation. Micro-insults are statements or behaviors in which individuals unconsciously communicate discriminatory messages to members of target groups. For example, a person might tell an Asian American that they speak good English, implying that Asian Americans do not speak good English. This instance can be especially upsetting to Asian Americans who do not speak any other language besides English. And again, there's some examples on the bottom of people showing things that have happened to them that would qualify as a micro insult. So if you find yourself in a situation where someone is using a microaggression, they've said something that you know is harmful, these are some examples of how you might respond in that situation. And there's sentence starters here to help you even get started. So some examples are to restate or paraphrase, ask for clarification or more information. Like, what do you mean by that? Like, lean in with some curiosity. Acknowledge feelings behind the statement. And the next one I think is something that happens a lot is the intention of what someone says does not match the impact and the harm that is caused. So helping the person separate what their intention was while also recognizing and owning the impact that it had upon the person. You could share your own process on your journey of understanding microaggressions. You could express your feelings, challenge the stereotype, appeal to values and principles, promote empathy, tell them they're too smart or too good to say things like that. Like, that's really ignorant and offensive. I know you're smarter than that. Pretend you don't understand. Like, why is that funny? Can you tell me more about why you said that? Use humor. Like if someone says, oh, she plays like a girl. You mean like Serena Williams? Because obviously Serena Williams is amazing. Point out what they have in common with the other person. And then, if you must, remind them of rules or policies against the use of microaggressions and hate speech. Now, I want to take a moment and pause because I want you to look at some of these sentence starters and think about situations where you might need to apply this type of approach when you're dealing with someone who has used a microaggression or hate speech. So other than coming back with some really solid phrases to address microaggressions, what else can you do if you see or hear about bullying or harassment? There are lots of people in our building that you can talk to. You can talk to a coach, a teacher, there's counselors here, we have a social worker here, we have a psychologist here, administrators such as myself or Ms. Shamer or Mr. Jacobson. If you have a therapist that you work with or your parents, any other trusted adult that you can go to. There's also online resources. And SUSO, our program that we use here at McFarland High School, Speak Up, Speak Out, You can find them online, or you can send them a text. And again, Speak Up, Speak Out has someone on call 24/7 to chat with you and to help you work through that. You can share your name. You don't have to share your name, but it's someone that can be there with you as you report the tip around bullying, whether it's for you, if you're personally being bullied, or if you know of someone else that is. And we're going to watch this video to help explain that process even more. And again, at the bottom of this slide, you can see that you can download the app from Apple Store or Google Play, and you can text SUSO to 738-477, or you can call 1-800-MY-SUSO-1.
Let's face it, we live in a world where sometimes bad things happen. And it's not like we can predict the future or anything, but sometimes you see or hear something that just makes you want to speak up. So, speak up.
Sometimes kids prank each other or give somebody a hard time about something. Usually it's just goofing around, but this time, these kids were taking it way too far, and I couldn't just look the other way. I have to let somebody know what's going on.
When Jasmine didn't get the lead in the school play, I could see she took it really hard. I told her she'll get the part next year, and her response was, "I'll be gone by then." That just didn't sound like her. Then I noticed all these little cuts on her arms, and I thought, I really hope she wasn't being serious.
Derek has a rep for being angry and saying some pretty scary stuff online. He's even been in trouble before, but it was never anything too serious. I don't know if it's all just an act or not, but when somebody talks about actually bringing a gun to school, I have to say something. I just have to.
Nowadays, we've got to look out for each other and the community. We know speaking up works and can save lives. So if you encounter a safety threat, let your voice be heard.
So here's how it works. First, submit a confidential tip to the Speak Up, Speak Out School Safety Resource Center, or SUSO. While it's mostly for students, if there's a safety threat, anyone can speak up, including parents and teachers. Next, SUSO will promptly review your tip while keeping everything confidential. Then they'll find the best resources available to help, or even involve law enforcement if necessary.
Let's strive for safer communities. With SUSO, we're working to ignite empowerment, support, and protection of all youth statewide.
You can find the SUSO app on the taskbar on your Chromebook. Once you open the app, you will be prompted to create a password. Your reports are anonymous, so the password will allow you to get back to any follow-up information.
Thanks for watching. I'm Miss Harper.
I'm Ms. Shamer.
And I'm Mr. Jacobson, and we just wanted to thank you all for helping our school be a safe and productive place by not being a bully. We look forward to working with everybody the rest of the year.
Bye. Bye.